Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading an Arlecchino Listener by me. So let's get into it. It was very late in the night, to the point where even the younger children, who were usually restless and loud, had long since gone to bed. But Arlecchino's office still glowed faintly from beneath the door. You stood in the hallway, your arms crossed, debating for the fifth time whether to knock or not. You already knew what you'd find inside. Her seated behind that impossibly large desk, surrounded by mountains of paperwork. You sighed and knocked anyway. "Come in," came her voice, steady and quiet. The kind of tone she used when she didn't want anyone to know how exhausted she was. He pushed the door open, and just as you expected, there she was. Arlecchino sat with her head bent slightly, her eyes scanning documents in the flickering candlelight, and you could see the faint indents when she'd been gripping her pen too tightly. "I thought you'd be in bed by now," she said without looking up. "I thought you would be," you replied, stepping closer. Her lips quirked faintly. "Someone has to keep this house from falling apart." You walked around her desk and leaned against it, forcing her to glance up at you. The circles under her eyes were subtle, but they were there, darker than usual. "You've been here since dawn. You've signed enough papers to rebuild Fontaine twice." "There's more to handle. New recruits to assess, missions to approve, funding requests, and the Northern Division can wait until morning." Her brows furrowed, faintly annoyed by the interruption. "You think the world slows down just because I close my eyes?" You smiled a little, but there was worry beneath it. "No, but you should, regardless." Her pen paused mid-word, and for a moment, silence stretched between you. The only sound was the quiet ticking of the clock on the far wall. Then, without looking at you, she muttered, "I can't." You crouched slightly, bringing yourself to her eye level. "Why not?" She finally looked at you fully. Those eyes, sharp and beautiful, softened just enough for you to see how worried she is sometimes. "Because if I do, everything stops with me. For now, I have to keep going." You frowned. "But that's not true, Arlecchino. The house won't fall apart because you sleep." "You don't understand at all." "Then make me. If you can convince me you're right, maybe I'll stop bothering you." She hesitated, her fingers switching beneath yours, almost as if she wanted to pull away as you held her hand. But she didn't. Finally, she exhaled, quiet and tired. "Listen, these children, they depend on me. Every one of them came from something cruel, something that took everything they had. If I let my guard down, if I rest too long, they could lose what little stability they found." You listened silently. She never said things like this aloud. The fact that she was saying it now, being this unusually vulnerable, meant that she was truly tired. "And who takes care of you?" You asked softly, and her eyes looked yours again. "You." she said simply. And that single word was enough to melt something in your chest. You squeezed her hand lightly. Then let me do that now. It's my duty. Her brow creased. I don't need rest. Yes, you do. You can't protect them if you collapse at your desk, Arlecchino. Her lips parted slightly, as if to argue, but no words came. He reached forward, gently sliding the pen out of her grasp. She didn't resist. He sat down beside her and tugged at her hand. Come on. Why on? Up you go, you said, tugging again, and she couldn't help but smile, sighing softly. You're impossible. Maybe, but that's one more reason to love me. And that earned you a small, quiet chuckle. And she let you pull her up. The moment she stood, the tension in her shoulders became obvious. Her posture was perfect as always, but her body betrayed her, her movements slower and heavier. He brushed a thumb along her knuckles. See? Even your hands are tired. She rolled her eyes but didn't argue. You're relentless. I learned from the best. When you reached her room, she hesitated by the door. I still have things to... No, I'm not hearing it. You're done for tonight. You guided her to sit on the edge of the bed. And he knelt briefly, massaging her fingers. And she smiled softly, looking at you. Leon? This is unnecessary. She muttered. Then humor me. When you were done, you looked at her. Lie down. You're giving orders now? For now, yes. She stared at you for a long moment, before finally doing as you asked. And he smiled, kissing her cheek, before getting in beside her, pulling the blanket over both of you. You push yourself too hard. Someone has to. I don't believe that. She sighed, staying quiet for a little bit. Then, she talked again. I'm not used to being taken care of. I know, but I'll keep doing it until you are. And even though it was not easy for her to accept, she couldn't help but smile and look forward to it.